back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our major stories. Senate asks acting president to produce within 2 weeks the financial status of 34 revenue collecting agencies, excluding the CBN and NNPC. More trouble for the PDP as another lawmaker defects from the party to the APC at the National Assembly. More attacks by suspected Fulani herdsmen leave scores dead in villages in 3 local government areas of Taraba State. And Sudanese President Omar al-Bashir accused of genocide to attend summit with Donald Trump in Saudi Arabia. Now, just a quick reminder to you that for more on our top stories and others, please visit our website, channelstv.com and youtube.com/channelsweb. You can also watch us on the go on your mobile device. Log on to m.channelstv.com or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows devices from their respective stores. Having the Channels TV and Channels 24 app will give you access to news and updates. You also have the Eyewitness feature, so you too can be part of the news. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu and follow the instructions to share those pictures, videos and news of happenings around you. Let's take a look at some of the pictures I was talking about, and let's begin with this one from Niger State showing the soil under electricity poles washed away. Our Eyewitness reporter raises concerns over the danger this poses if not attended to quickly. And from Ikurudu in Lagos State comes this picture showing the premises of a school taken over by flood. According to our Eyewitness reporter, students of the Methodist Primary School are sending an urgent message to the state government. Still on floods is this image from a road close to the Nnamdi Azikiwe University in Anambra State, showing commuters stranded due to the flooded road. Our Eyewitness reporter says this is the state of the road whenever it rains. And let's end with this image from Asaba, the Delta State capital. It shows people whom our Eyewitness reporter says are local government staff protesting over unpaid salaries for more than 14 months. Thanks a lot for all your pictures, and thanks for being part of the news as well. The controversy surrounding the death of the first civilian governor of Osun State, Senator Isiaka Adeleke, is far from over, as the family has threatened to take legal action against the medical practitioners at the Lautech Teaching Hospital Oshogbo for what they called unprofessional conduct. At an inquest held in Oshogbo, the Osun State capital, today, the lead pathologist, Dr. Taiwo Sholaja, told the court that no trace of poison was found in the system of the senator. The pathologist, however, suggested that the late senator may have died of aspiration of gastric content due to abnormally high alcohol intake and multiple drug overdose. The Adeleke family says these claims are untrue.
That Senator Isiaka Adeleke, the first civilian governor of Osun State, is dead is no longer news. What's making headlines is the cause of death, which is generating a lot of ripples between the family and the medical team that carried out the autopsy on the late federal lawmaker. At this inquest held in Oshogbo, the Osun State capital, the lead pathologist handling the case tenders the findings of his team to the court.
I made the diagnosis with my impression of cause of death to be aspiration associated with multiple drug overdose.
However, the report is slammed by the family, who are alleging a cover-up.
It's quite disheartening that we live in a country where some of our supposed professionals can be so easily compromised by their paymasters without any regard to the oath they swore to as medical health practitioners. The family hereby puts it on record that based on the high level of unprofessional conduct already displayed by the CMD of Lautech, the integrity of the yet to be ready, in quote, autopsy must have been seriously compromised.
The case has certainly gained following, as students of the Adeleke University in Osun State, where the late lawmaker was chancellor, paid a visit to Channels Television to lend their support to the family.
We are supporting the family. We're telling them, we want them to know that we are rightly behind it, in spite of any rumors that the people are carrying about the death of the man.
The controversy surrounding this matter keeps growing and appears won't be over anytime soon, as the family say they need satisfactory information for closure. Until then, this is far from being an open and shut case.
President Professor Yemi Osinbajo has confirmed that another Chibok schoolgirl has been found barely 12 days after the release of the 82 abducted girls by terrorist group Boko Haram. Professor Osinbajo, who made the announcement during the Federal Executive Council meeting today, said that apart from the girls who escaped on the night of the abduction, only 122 girls have either been released or rescued so far. The latest rescue brings the number of girls still missing to 112. The 82 Chibok girls recently released were in exchange for 5 suspected Boko Haram commanders held by the federal government. And the Nigerian army says it's arrested about 126 suspected Boko Haram terrorists at the internally displaced persons camp in Damboa, Borno State. This latest arrest was disclosed by the theatre commander of Operation Lafia Dole, Major General Lucky Irabo. He told journalists in Maiduguri that the suspects were flushed out following a mop-up that was conducted after the terrorists stormed Sabongeri in Damboa local government area. He said 6 soldiers were killed in that attack and a few others were wounded, while the army lost some equipment. According to General Irabo, intelligence reports indicated that there was an attempt by Boko Haram to attack Damboa town and many of the insurgents had infiltrated the IDP camp. He explained that during a raid on the camp, one of the terrorists who took part in the Sabongeri attack was identified after a wallet was found on him containing the identity card of a soldier killed in that operation. Now, the frequency of attacks by armed herdsmen on farming communities has reached an alarming state across the country. Now, the latest attacks have been confirmed in Osisa in Delta State and Takum and Kurmi local government areas of Taraba State. To discuss these repeated attacks, I'm now being joined on the news at 10 by a retired Army officer, Colonel Hassan Stanlabu. Thank you so much for joining us on the news at 10.
Thanks, Ijoma. Thanks so much.
Now, farmers and herdsmen did have a good relationship in the past, and now we see these repeated attacks. What do you think is causing not just the attacks on farmers, but you see them being maimed and, farming communities being totally wiped out?
Well, Ijoma, first of all, thanks so much for bringing me on again. The fact remains that we can't keep doing the same thing and expect to see different answers. We shall continue to witness things like this in as much as the Fulani herdsmen intrude into farmlands in various areas within different states as they move along with their herds. And of course, like you know, reprisal attacks back and forth would always keep us in the situation in which we find ourselves until we are able to come out with a solution. The solution might maybe, if you want to ask me what is my opinion, the idea of we establishing what's it called, the grazing settlements, yeah, within which these Fulanis could, take good care of their herds. I recall very much that the Minister of Agriculture has appealed to state governments to avail land, for this project. And I think a few states have reacted positively. Not until we have something like that in place, I don't see how we shall not continue to suffer such. In more civilized climes, you will agree with me that this is the method that is now employed. You don't see heads of cattle moving all around the place and disrupting farmers' activities.
But is it as simple as just having somewhere for them to be? I mean, you're a retired army officer.
Yeah.
When you see, or when security agencies or members of the public find people who are not licensed to bear arms, bearing arms in open, in broad daylight, and nothing is done about it, what do you think? How should they respond to that beyond just putting them somewhere?
Ordinarily, asking me as a soldier, I will tell you that the reaction should be to look, get them arrested, and of course hand them to appropriate authorities, and necessary actions will be taken on them. But you must understand, Ijoma, that this is a national issue now. It's a different ball game altogether. It calls for maybe policy direction to be geared towards it, to see how we can come up with some solutions. It calls for legislations, from the National Assembly and so on. But who are those to come out with these legislations? Is it the present 8th Assembly that sits for 1 week and proceeds on recess for 3 weeks? So we find ourselves in a quagmire. I only hope that, given the political will which the present government has, and which they have been able to exercise over the issue of Boko Haram, they will replicate this on the herdsmen palaver we have presently.
What sort of legislation are you looking at, from both sides, from the sides of the farmers and the sides of the herdsmen? How do you make such a policy? Easy to say, policy. What sort of policy?
Yes, policies that will be relevant in addressing or in giving us solutions to the problem. Policies that definitely would see that the issue of carrying arms by individuals who should not bear arms is highly addressed. You cannot bear arms if you are not a member of the armed forces. Any other person bearing arms that is not a member of the armed forces is now bad books. You are either an armed robber or whatever. We should address these issues with some level of seriousness. But unfortunately, those that should address it seem to turn a blind eye. I am from Southern Kaduna. I was at home recently when the heat was on of recent in my place, and sincerely you wouldn't believe me, I forced back tears when I saw when I saw relations and friends down as, oh shit.
I'm sorry.
It's unfortunate, but I just want to appeal to government to please address this issue. Nigerians are becoming wary, and in as much as some of us are able to appeal to our own people that, look, you must be calm, the government in place is one that understands and listens, and definitely they will address it. I just hope government will do something about it before our own people begin to see some of us as sellouts.
All right. I'm sorry about all that and your emotion and all, and also the language that you mistakenly let slip on the News at 10. But thank you so much, retired Army Officer Colonel Hassan Stanlabo, for joining us on News at 10 tonight.
Thank you very much, Joe.
And when the News at 10 returns, Nigeria refines 10 million barrels of crude in the first quarter of the year. Success attributed to peace in the oil-producing Niger Delta region. Please stay with us.